Welcome. We're starting on the 2-minute mark, which gives us 2 minutes, or a minute and 50 seconds, while we wait for people to collect. Otherwise, I'm talking to nobody. Live, anyway. And live gives a whole new cool dynamic to this whole deal of just recorded messages. Man, it's, well, we got a minute and a half left. First viewer just got on. Cool. Second. Awesome, we've got a few. We're starting a little less than a minute and a half from now at the 2-minute mark. Alright, a minute and 15 seconds and we get started. Hi, Eileen. One minute and 5 seconds left. Man, I'm not going to be able to do this much longer. Well, outside without a shirt on. It's September 18th in Wisconsin, and it's kind of chilly this morning. So, the days of niceness are numbered until it turns into the long, cold winter. Hi, Gwen. I'm usually up at about this time, so for me it's not that early. And every day is Saturday morning to me, even though it's Sunday morning this morning. We got another 35 seconds. But I am, speaking of which, I didn't even put any thought into this at all. I'm happy to see people on here this early. We got about 22 seconds. Gwen, I know you can't hear me if you can't hear me, but turn your volume up, other people can hear me. Hopefully you figure that out real soon. I'm starting in about 10 more seconds. Good morning, Tracy. I'm outside of my house in my backyard on a Sunday morning. Even though every day is Saturday morning to me. It's Sunday morning. Okay, we're gonna get started right now. So welcome, my free-thinking, conscious-thinking friends who love to tap into your critical faculties. And this is about food and nutrition and health and debt. Hey, Rick. Hey, Tracy. Good morning, everybody. So you know how there's a lot of companies out there that are good companies, but then there's a lot of other companies that are horrible, unforgivable, maybe unredeemable companies that profit lots of money by making people sick. They literally poison people and they profit from it, and it's totally legal. And this happens a lot, particularly in the big agriculture business, all the way from farming practices that strip the soil of their nutrients so the plants are so sick that the chemical companies are more than happy to sell their chemicals and poisons to them, basically to keep them on life support, and then we eat those same plants and we wonder why we are so sick. And that all stems from pharmaceutical companies who have a profit motive to make the chemical companies that do that to the plants that do that to us, so that we require their medications as we get older. So that's an industry that profits more than $500 billion a year, and they are in the business solely of helping people die as slowly as possible, because the longer you keep people on life support medications, the more money they make. It's insane. Get somebody with diabetes by the age of, I think, 21 years old. That's $2 million worth of profit per person that has diabetes at the age of 21. Get a child that's diabetic. For the first time in our history of the world, we have childhood diabetes epidemics. Get a child, that's $3 million worth of profits for every child that has diabetes. And that doesn't even include cancer and the millions of other diseases that they've come out with, invented, created, and all that kinds of stuff. So that's a huge problem. So I believe I have a solution for that I'm leveraging from another place. Now, the companies that are actually helping people, get healthy, build up their own natural defenses, those are the companies we need to be spending our money at. Those are where we need to be creating opportunities for ourselves. Opportunities to get healthy with the food that we eat so that we're healthier physically, which is going to help us get healthier emotionally, and also to get healthier financially and to get out of debt and all of those things. Health and wealth are married, whether we believe it or not, so we need to believe it because it's the truth. And when we can solve a health problem and a money problem, in other words, we reverse the trends of chronic diseases and chronic obesity and chronic debt. So chronic disease and chronic debt is completely reversed. everything else improved. Like, that affects everything, every other aspect of our lives, our culture, our economy, our individual wellness. Everything exponentially gets better when we reverse trends of chronic disease and chronic debt. That's a pretty cool thing. So these things are inexplicably intertwined, but we don't treat them as though they are, and that actually helps perpetuate the problem as we know it and spins things even further out of control than they need to be. So here's my solution, and I've been doing this for 9 years, and it's been wonderful for me, and other people have gotten involved. You know, there's all these farmers in the world. Some of them are completely irresponsible, and they destroy the soil of all their nutrients, their minerals that they're supposed to have. The soil that we grow our food in, the food that we eat, it's supposed to come from soil that is free of all chemicals and has 50 some odd different trace minerals in them that the plants absorb, and the plants build up their own natural defenses with those minerals so that they don't need chemicals and pesticides and life support to stay alive. And then we eat that shit and we wonder why we're so sick. Most farmers, that's what they do, and that's where the government subsidies come in, and that's what they're incentivized for. But that's traced back to us, because whatever we spend our money on, that's like saying, give me more of that. So by what we are doing with our money, not with our mouths, because our mouths are never in alignment with our money. We're just a really dumb culture. That's why this is for conscious thinking people. But if you're conscious, you realize what you spend your money on, you're saying to the invisible hands of the economy, give me more of that. So we need to spend our money on foods grown by the farmers that are being responsible with the soil, protecting the land, keeping it organic, putting all the 50 some odd trace minerals that are supposed to be in the soil so the plants can grow in that and build up their own natural defenses without any chemicals. They can stay strong, and then we eat those plants, and now we are no longer nutrient deficient, and we're no longer toxic. We're eating nutrient full, clean, healthy plants with strong defenses, so we can build our own defense up. And then we're less likely to ever need medication, and that fucks up the plans for the big pharmaceutical companies, believe me. So you want to mess up the plans, totally fuck up the big plans that the pharmaceutical leadership companies has over your life to help you die as slowly as possible. You buy organic food as much as you possibly can, and you feed that to your family. And if enough people do that, that's going to be the cheaper food, and the cheap food will actually be more expensive if enough people do that. It's the honest to God truth. So here's one thing that I do that helps a lot. Here's where the health and the wealth both get intertwined that I've been doing for 9 years. So I have this, it's a meal replacement shake. Hear me out, just hear me out. It's plant-based, whole food. There's no sugar in it. There's no additives. There's no fillers. It comes from thousands of different farmers around the world. Farmers that are the responsible type, that are doing the organics, that are taking care of the land, that use sustainable farming practices. Each one of these bags of this dense whole food shake that I buy and that I connect other people to, a lot of other people to, that supports thousands of families, their farms, helps them protect the land. It helps them keep Monsanto and other chemical companies out of those lands. Imagine if Monsanto and other chemical companies no longer had a grip on an acre of land anywhere in the world. Imagine if chemical companies were just eradicated. What that would do for the health of the planet is like beyond measure. But every one of these bags of this meal replacement shake that is sold, it supports all those farmers that are ridding the planet of all these stupid chemical companies that are literally poisoning us and in the business of helping you die as slowly as possible. So we need more of that behavior. And these families are supported, and they build schools for children in other countries where they don't have very good school systems, so that they can learn basic stuff like reading and writing and have a shot, themselves. That's a big part of this whole theme for this video: conscious thinking people, compassionate. Imagine buying more products like that, where it not only protects the land and helps farmers that are doing the responsible thing and the sustainable thing. But it's also educating people in parts of the world that otherwise wouldn't even learn how to read and write. Therefore, they're not going to have the same opportunities that other people have if they don't understand basic math, reading and writing, arithmetic, and things like that. That's a huge deal. And something like that is only going to appeal to compassionate, free-thinking, conscious people. The masses out there that are doing God knows what, they aren't going to hear any of this stuff. That's why I'm specifically targeting, like a laser beam, all of you that actually give a damn about other people other than just yourselves, and other people in other lands than just this one. So that's a pretty big deal. And to be able to merge the two, health and wealth, so that we're reversing trends of chronic disease and chronic debt, we get those two things in order. That does a lot to take care of emotional health and the health of the planet and our culture, and exponentially improves everything individually and culturally and in the world. That's a pretty big freaking deal. So there you go. My invitation, I'll cut to the chase now. My invitation is, if you want to know more about this that I'm talking about, just Facebook private message me or say something in the feed here. I don't have any slick thing to say. That's why I'm tripping over my words. This is very off the cuff. Usually my off the cuff videos are a little bit better than this, but I really had nothing prepared. I just felt something in my blood and I wanted to get it out there. But that's it. That's my talk. I'm just reading through the comments. Thanks for the support, everyone. Yes, growing your own gardens is awesome. Keep it organic. Be my own dream. Dreaming of no meds. I think it's possible. Hi, Tom from Rhode Island. Hi, Patricia from Wisconsin. Builders are taking away the farm. Yeah, a lot of builders do take away the farmland. It's another reason we have to support the organic, responsible farmers that are protecting the land. Whoops. You did great. Thanks, Vicky. Best off the cuff. Well, that's cool that you think so. Thanks, Eileen. Thanks, Christina. Thanks, Vicky. I have to say, I think that was like the worst ending I've ever done a live feed. I just didn't have a way to button it up in my brain. It didn't come out very good. I thought it was awkward. You know that feeling you get where you know what you're thinking, but you don't know how to put it into words. That's where I was at the end of this talk. It's like, I know what I'm thinking, I just don't know how to put it into words. And then just awkwardness came out. That happens. I'm a socially awkward, introverted kind of guy. That's why I am a business owner, but I'm an online business owner. I can't imagine doing one offline. I'm so introverted and shy, it's just ridiculous. But you know what I've learned is that if I'm out there in the open and I don't try to hide the fact that I'm so socially off and awkward and introverted, then I'm finding that I'm relating to more people, which is a good thing. And it's good to relate. But you know what, when we can't relate is when we try to hide our flaws and imperfections, which a lot of people try to do. I'm not going to demonize that. Sometimes I do it to an extent, because sometimes, I don't know, sometimes it's difficult because we don't want to be judged. And that includes me. I'm not immune from that. Hi, Jacqueline. I pretty much finished. But when I click finish on this thing and it's archived on my timeline, you'll be able to watch it from the beginning if you'd like. Hi, Victoria. As I was telling Jacqueline, I actually just finished. So when I click finish on the video, you can go back and watch it archived on my timeline. This is fun hanging out. My rocker friend, Victoria. I've been playing my guitar a lot more lately. Nothing to do with the topic of this video, I know, but you know, I'm kind of done with the talk now. And I think you'll be happy to know that, Victoria. So there will be more live feeds of me playing my guitar soon. About a week ago, that was redundant. I did this, I did a live feed I've never done before. I played jazz for like an hour and a half. I've never played jazz music on a live feed before. And it wasn't like the bebop and rocksteady kind of jazz or the funkadilly stuff. It was just smooth, cool jazz music you could fall asleep to. Not because it was boring, just because it was that good. And the comments and the live feed as it was happening were really cool. It was a lot of fun. By the way, I'm roaming around, frolicking. There's my phone. Frolicking in my backyard. You know that house that I infamously paid cash for? Hi, Angela. You know that house that I know. To continue with what I was talking about earlier during the talk, this house that I paid cash for, this house took me 2.5 years to go from zero to having the funds to buy a house in cash. And I did that by supporting, gosh, the number must be in the thousands. I mean, to be able to buy a house in cash, by supporting thousands of farmers and their families, the ones, particularly the farmers, that are doing the responsible thing with the land, protecting it organically and making sure the soil has all of its 50-something trace minerals that it's supposed to have, growing food in those organic soils that are strong, healthy, nutrient-dense, clean foods, plant-based whole food nutrition that they feed, albeit small parts of the world, because, you know, most of us are not eating organic. But they're doing what they can, and I'm supporting that. And in exchange for supporting that, I've used the money that I have made by buying their products and connecting a lot of other people to their products, I guess in the thousands, but it was enough that I was able to buy a house in cash. Right back there. See it behind me. That's my house. That's my house. This is my beautiful backyard. I spend a lot of time out here. I've got the coolest yard. It's not a huge yard, but man, this yard is pretty cool. I mean, look at this. I'll do a little circle here. Kind of see everything. I got 3 gardens. It's just the neatest backyard, and think that I paid cash for this, like I own it. The reason I talk about that a lot, like the fact of all this in cash, is because it's incredibly, profoundly important. And the reason it's incredibly profoundly important is because almost everybody feels completely trapped and like they have no time to do anything. And people want more out of life, but they just don't know what to do. Or they don't feel that they're worthy because of a past that they're not happy with. And all these, maybe somebody feels that they can't have something like that because they were dumb in school, or I really don't know. There's all kinds of reasons, and it varies from person to person. But I did it. I was a straight D, straight C- student, somewhere in there. And I'd never done anything like that before in my life, so I don't have the track record or the background that says I should have been able to do anything like that. And I started, yeah, I'm not going to get into all that right now. Sounds good, Christina. Hi, Terry, welcome. Terry, I pretty much finished my talk already. I'm kind of just hanging out with everybody now. Just bought a good kisser. You bought a good kisser, Eileen. I don't know what that means. Unless you're speaking literally. I'm not really sure. So I'm probably not going to archive this one in my YouTube channel because, I don't know, I don't think my talk turned out that good. It's one of those instances where I knew what I wanted, I knew what I was thinking, but I just couldn't verbalize it in a way that I thought was intelligent. But who knows, maybe it'll touch somebody. Maybe it'll reach somebody. I just don't know. So I think our hangout session has pretty much run its course. The comments have stopped. And it's Sunday morning. I'm sure you're all at church right now, right? Have a wonderful day, everyone. I might do another live feed here soon. Just maybe. I might do another live feed here soon. So take care, everyone. And I will see you later. Bye for now. Mwah.